Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another live stream. My name is Hazik. Hopefully, you are doing great. And in today's live stream, we'll be going over Bitcoin, its price action, and we'll take a look at a few news pieces. And we'll also take a look at a few altcoins that I've gotten from the patrons. There's a few altcoins that they want to take a look at. Of course, if you haven't subscribed yet, feel free to subscribe to the channel. Leave a like on the live stream. It does help us out. And if you have any altcoin requests, feel free to leave them down below. I can't guarantee that we'll get through all of your requests on this live stream because we do have a few altcoins already prepared to cover. But let's start off with some quick Bitcoin news. And this is regarding the alt season. So this is the chart of others against, I think this is Bitcoin. It's not, I was trying to see what kind of a chart this is. So it says others/BTC. Okay, so this is the, I think this is the dominance. Cliche, hey there, my friend. How are you doing? As always, great to have you. Let me try to compare. No, this is not the others. It's possible it's simply against the Bitcoin chart. What I think is the others market cap or the others against the Bitcoin market cap. I think. At least that's what it looks like on this chart. But then we had the same scenario playing out in 2017, in 2020, 2021, and then now we're waiting for the 2025 bull run. But I haven't, I can't really understand what it says there up top. It's kind of blurry. Now, this is coming from Bitcoin Magazine. BlackRock just bought $410 million worth of Bitcoin through their ETF, which is insane to think about. That's $500 million. And also from Bitcoin Magazine, the fast food giant Steak and Shake is now officially accepting Bitcoin Lightning Network payments. I don't know what Steak and Shake is, to be honest. I think it's just a chain in the US. Maybe you'll find it in Europe somewhere, but they're accepting Bitcoin payments through the Lightning Network. And we've obviously all seen that in El Salvador, and now it's happening in the United States. I think in 5 years, the amount of adoption we'll see for Bitcoin is going to be crazy in terms of accepting payments at least. And this is coming from China. So the Chinese public company DDC Enterprise is going to adopt a strategic Bitcoin reserve and is planning to buy 5,000 Bitcoin. So now the Chinese are trying to catch up with, or at least the companies, right, are trying to catch up in terms of Bitcoin adoption, because the Chinese government arguably now has more Bitcoin than the US government. If I'm not mistaken, that's according to the numbers that they've confiscated, then the Chinese government has more. And Trump is trying to push Powell once again to cut rates, and everyone is waiting for rate cuts. We're all waiting for the rate cuts to come into play because that will ease the conditions for the economy, and that will obviously benefit the markets. The first guy saying here, no rate cuts in this economy is unjustified. And we covered that. I think I'll drop a video on the Fed rate cuts and what Trump is trying to do with that. We dropped it on Patreon a few weeks ago, but we'll re-upload it on YouTube. And again, if you want to take a look at our Patreon, the link is going to be down below in the description. You get 7 days free trial to all of our content. So Abu Dhabi is obviously the capital of UAE. The Sovereign Wealth Fund disclosed owning $511 million worth of Bitcoin through BlackRock's ETF. And this was expected because we were talking about Gulf countries buying into Bitcoin. And they probably do hold some Bitcoin on their balance sheets separately from the ETF, but they just decided to disclose the ETF holdings that they have, which is understandable. But this trend will continue. We'll have more Gulf countries announcing that they're holding Bitcoin through ETFs and simply holding them on their balance sheets in cold storage. And this is just the first of many yet to come. And in terms of AI coins, this is coming from CryptoZac on Twitter. And he essentially just tweeted hash AI, which is this coin here that we looked at before. I did see a significant pump in the last few weeks. So we went up in terms of market cap. We were down at around $13 million market cap, and now we're up to 54. The pump concluded at 68, almost $70 million market cap. And this is a really bullish AI coin. It's not listed on any major exchanges. We only have MEXC is the only one that I can recognize. And of course, Uniswap. That's where most of the volume is. So once we get something like Gate.io, maybe KuCoin, then we will have more demand coming to hash AI. So now is your opportunity to jump into the project. The circulating supply is sitting at 84.5%. And this is on ETH. So if you're buying it on Uniswap, you will have to be paying those big fees. Well, maybe now the fees aren't as big because we don't have that much or that many people in the space. But the response from Alex Becker here is that hash is probably going to be one of the leading runners in AI, already has been. So if we go to the CoinMarketCap page, we go to the AI category. And CoinMarketCap is being laggy as always. Bitensor is obviously the leader in terms of market cap, 3.7 billion. But if we keep scrolling down, there's lots of coins here that are below the $1 billion mark. So Aether, Grass, EOS, all of these are bullish projects. Track, Origin Trail is something that people are buying into. And then you go all the way down here and then you see, so Pinlink is another one that we mentioned. Alex Becker is bullish on Pinlink as well. Tars AI, another good one. But if we go all the way down here, there we go. There's hash AI. So this has a lot of potential. A 10x from here would take us to $530 million market cap, and that still wouldn't be a lot. $530 million market cap is not a lot in an alt season in a category like AI. It's not going to be a lot. So we could potentially be seeing multi-billion-dollar market cap values for these coins that are below 100 million. So things like Pinlink, Node AI, Neural, Nosana is another big one on Solana. All of these market caps are extremely low. And let's take a look at Bitcoin and see what's going on. Bitcoin has been holding up very, very strong. Let's see what other chart maybe I should. I think this chart is fine. So this chart has a fib set up from that bottom there, July 24th, or July 2024 rather, and the local top in March 2024. And what happened is we broke through the local top there, we broke through the first fib level, and we got all the way up to the second fib level at $110,000 or so. You can see that wick there in January 2025. From there, we saw a correction of 30+%. And right now we've recovered approximately 42%. So we're way past the 20 MA. In a healthy scenario, we would be looking at a move back down to the 20 MA. If we want to continue a healthy uptrend, then we have to keep bouncing off the 20 MA. And then once the blow off top comes, we can have a massive move to the upside, and the RSI will go parabolic as well. But you can see we're holding the 1.618 at 94,500 as our support. That's going to be a great entry point. So this level over here is going to be your support for Bitcoin. If we take a look at the weekly RSI, and let's compare that to the price action. Are we seeing any sort of bearish divergences here? So you could argue there is a bearish divergence, but probably not, because it's still a lower high that we're printing at the moment. I was going to say there was a bearish divergence because there's a double top here, essentially a horizontal trend line, when the RSI is simply printing a lower high. That would be considered a divergence, but it doesn't seem like that's the case here. So if you're looking to get into Bitcoin, I would wait for a retracing back down to the 1.618. And by the end of the cycle, we're looking at $156,000. That has been my target since 2022. And that's the target that I'll be adhering to. This is, of course, based on the previous cycle top and this cycle's bottom here. So that's the bottom from November 2022. That is the top from November 2021. And I just have to fix up the fib a little bit here. And it's going to be around $150-ish thousand for our 1.618. And we're in our wave 5 of this Elliott wave structure as well. We have our wave 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So Bitcoin is doing great. Bitcoin has been doing incredibly well, and it's just the altcoins that are lacking, right? We're looking for Ethereum to start breaking its all-time high. And when that happens, we have a massive alt season. Okay, so Ethereum is above the 20 EMA. This is a good sign. We are running into the golden ratio as resistance here, the 0.618, $2,500. Once we break through that, once we start breaking through the local top from November 2024, I think things are about to pick up for Ethereum from that point. And then we're looking at $7,800 as our minimal target. Of course, it doesn't mean we have to necessarily get to that target, but that's what the fib is giving us here. And the important thing for Ethereum is that we held the bottom here. So it's constantly printing higher lows and higher highs. So here, we didn't manage to print a higher high. So what we need to do now is we need to start breaking past those local tops, and we need to break past the all-time high at 5,000. That's going to be crucial for our alt season, whether you like Ethereum or not. Now let's take a look at the coins. Let's start with GLMR. So this is all right, so $89 million market cap. The chart doesn't look very good if you go on to all time. You go to 1 year, you can see we had a correction from 4 cents to around 9 cents at the moment. It's a massive crash in terms of market cap. Value as well, 365 down to 47 million. And now we're at 89, around 90 million. There's no max supply, as you can see, no cap, and we're going to be getting token unlocks until January 2027. So there will be token dilution happening until then. And of course, you have early investors that were taking profits, so they dumped the price. But if we jump into, so this is the weekly for GLMR. And I took profits. I sold my GLMR in this pump here. And I think I made 2% profit. And that the important thing was to preserve the investment, not to necessarily make money, because it was lacking. It was underperforming against everything else, against Moon River, and now it's printing essentially new bear market bottoms. I don't think we'll need all of those levels there for now because it's likely we're going to be either consolidating around these ranges here, right? You have this massive resistance at 16 cents. Let's get rid of that. Okay, so this top trend line, this top block here, the red block, is going to be our massive resistance that unfortunately we haven't been able to break through ever since 2022, ever since September. Let me see if I can add GLMR as a comment and then just so at least people can see what coin we're covering if they skip through the live stream or if they're joining mid live stream. So this is going to be our massive level that we haven't broken below or above. And since we haven't done that this far into the bull market, it's very likely we're not going to be doing it anytime soon, unfortunately. So if you're holding GLMR, and let's say your average is, let's say it's around 90 cents. So what's the best thing to do, in my opinion, or what I would be doing? You have a few options. Obviously, you can sell at a loss, which preferably you shouldn't be doing, or at least you should sell with as minimum loss as minimum loss as possible. But again, if you're sitting at 9 cents, you're down 90+% from your investment if your average is around 90 cents. So you can start dollar cost averaging, and you can start bringing down your average price. So let's say your average price is going to end up at 50 cents by the time you're done buying into GLMR at these low prices. 50 cents is actually not that bad. That's only like a 5x from the current prices, and it's still possible we're going to retest that red block before the end of the cycle, and then we're going to end up crashing again into the next bear market. That's a possibility for GLMR, but that way you at least manage to get out of your position securely and safely. But that would require you to buy at the current price. And of course, if you do that, there's a chance the price is going to go even lower, and then you're never getting to 50 cents. Obviously, there's all of these risks involved, but that's the strategy that I would implement for GLMR. But when I had the opportunity, I sold at minimum profit and I got out. And of course, my patrons were advised of that in advance. So that's it for GLMR. I can't give you these like $2, $5 price predictions because we're not breaking through 50 cents here. We're not able to break through 50 cents, which is our major resistance. So I can't give you these. I can't essentially hype up a coin for you to buy in and then lose your money, right? I'm not going to do that. So you have these 2 points of contact, or rather these 2 areas where you got into the overbought. And this could happen once again here by the end of 2025. And that'll be your signal to take profits, or rather one of the signals that you can use to take profits. But honestly, there's not a lot to cover here. Let's see if I can add a fib and measure this move. So look, we measured this move from the current local top there from December 2024. We took the local bottom from September 2024. And the second fib level here was retested at 0.0598. So the capitulation target was met. And that was our 1.618 at 8.5 cents. So the retracement, played out. We got to our technical targets, and now it's possible we're going to start our recovery phase. We'll see. I don't want to spend too much time on GLMR because there's a few other coins. There are a few other coins I want to take a look at. So this is going to be WELL, which is the ticker for the project for the Moonwell coin. And let's open up the market cap. So Moonwell is on Moonbeam and on the base chain as well. It's listed on Coinbase, so that is a very good thing. The market cap is slightly above 100 million, but this is self-reported. So when CoinMarketCap is not sure about the numbers, you can go to CryptoRank, and you can always verify everything. And you can go to the company's website, and they'll obviously provide you with the details. So 67% of the max supply is out in circulation. That's 3.35 billion tokens. And then the next unlock is happening in a few days. That's 0.74% of the max supply, which is 5 billion. That's 37 million well coins. So there's token dilution. If we pull up the market cap here, $300 million market cap dropped to around 50 million. Quite a retracement there. So they do have 2 more unlocks in May and in June. And after that, it seems like the vesting schedule has been concluded. And with the next pump, it's possible lots of early investors are going to be taking profits. So this is the Moonwell chart on the weekly. And notice how we're always bouncing off this white trend line below us. So we didn't bounce off the trend line there, but we had a bit of a fake out over here, and now we're jumping back up. And the same thing can be said about the resistance above us. So you're bouncing off the resistance. So every time you come up, you get rejected, you get sent back down. Every time you bounce off the support trend line, you get sent back up, and so on and so forth. So right now, what we are expecting is a move all the way up to the top of that channel there. And we did some TA on this, I believe, on Patreon a few months ago, back in March. And I was talking about a bounce off of the white trend line there. And we printed a nice double bottom pattern, and now we're off to the races. So if you entered off of the white trend line, you would have been up around 2x. And look at the weekly RSI. It landed right in that support area. So it's actually doing pretty well. Moonwell is doing pretty well. So let's say late 2025, that's going to be around 30 cents. That's going to be around over here at around 30 cents, which is going to be a pretty significant move now that I think about it. Yeah, like a 10x or something. That's pretty good. That's going to be pretty good. $1 billion market cap. That's not bad. All things considered, it's a pretty good trade. I know to some people a 10x is not a lot in this space, but I think some people are getting greedy and they're going to get burned. But that's Moonwell. Let's take a look at the next coin, CGPT. This is Chain GPT. And this got recently listed on Binance, as you can see. So market cap is around 98 million. Volume is 13 million, 24-hour volume, which is like the trading volume with all DEXs and centralized exchanges combined. So we have Bybit. Is there Gate? I don't think Gate.io has this listed, because there's a lot of AI trading going on over at Gate.io. Actually, no, it is listed on Gate. I'm just being blind, even though I have glasses on. So yeah, it's listed on Gate. 1.3. Yeah, so Gate is right behind HTX. So you have Gate, HTX, and Binance. Actually, HTX is number 1. I think this is a South Korean exchange. Yeah, so HTX, Binance, and then Gate.io being number 3. All right, so if we go to all time, this is a little bit older than 2 years, the coin. Let's take a look at the weekly chart. So we have a massive symmetrical triangle. Again, we have multiple bounces off the support and off the resistance. Okay. Then what happened right now is we bounced off the support. That was a great entry point. We're up around 107% at the moment. We are hitting the 20 EMA on the weekly as resistance. So we have to get past that in order for us to be bullish again, because when you're above the 20 EMA, you're in an uptrend. When you're below it, you're still in a downtrend. Now, what is likely to happen is that even if we break through the 20 EMA, we start climbing to the upside, we may run into the white trend line as resistance once again, and we're going to get rejected from there and go all the way back down again, and then have another move to the upside. The other possible scenario is that we're going to see a major breakthrough. So you have a few touches before, and then on the third try, we're going to break past it. And we're going to take out our minimal target at 80 cents, and then we're going to get to our technical target at $1.62, which is the 1.618. And from where we are right now, that would be a 1,200% to the upside, which is pretty doable with the current market cap, in my opinion. So we were overbought here in December on the RSI, retracement, deep retracement into the lower part of the chart, into the lower half of the RSI box here. Okay. So I think, again, next time you're above the index of 70, that's going to be your massive signal. But if we're going to be in an alt season, it's possible we're going to be doing, it's going to get crazier than just this little peak above 70. We might do something like this, right? And then have another retracement and something like that, and then crash. Because that's what happens in alt seasons. You have massive moves to the upside, and the RSI can get overbought very quickly. So make sure you have your hand on the pulse when the alt season kicks in. And next up we have PEAQ. So this is another request from Patreon. And let's open up the chart. So that's the weekly. Let's open up the daily. I think the daily is going to be a little bit easier. So PEAQ is a Deepin Layer 1 project. Let's see. A few centralized exchange listings, MEXC, BitGet being the biggest one there. Gate, Crypto.com. The volume on Crypto.com is very low. Look at that, Crypto.com exchange 2.3 thousand, while Gate is doing 2.1. And I think it's obvious that Crypto.com is a US-based exchange. That's why not a lot of people are willing to go over and trade on that exchange. Everyone else likes the exchanges that are in Europe and in Asia. The volume sitting at almost 9 million. Max supply not mentioned. So we can go to CryptoRank and we can take a look at what they say about their own max supply and their tokenomics. So total supply is 4.2 billion. Market cap at 83. Fully diluted market cap at 540 million. So we have around 15.5% of the total supply out in circulation. The all-time high market cap was 466 million. They had an ICO. And this is their vesting schedule. So it's about to get very crazy. This is about to get crazy for PEAQ. And the vesting will definitely be affecting the... Look, they have daily unlocks. The vesting schedule will be affecting the price action because the demand has to outweigh the new token unlocks and the potential selling pressure from those tokens and from the holders of those tokens. But we'll see if we can do that. Okay, so we have a channel up pattern here. Usually they break to the downside, as you all know. So we might have another bounce up and down, but then we lose it. That's a possibility because this is a pattern with a bearish bias. So keep that in mind. Now we do have an ascending resistance trend line right over here. Okay, so we ran into that level back in February this year, and then once again in May, and now we're bouncing off. So May 12th, so just a few days ago, we ran into that, and we've already retraced 36%. So I would say now is a good time to dollar cost average. If you take a look at each bounce inside this pattern, every time we come down to the support, we have a move to the upside. Sometimes a small move, sometimes a bigger move, but a move nonetheless. So if you're looking for a short-term trade, this would be ideal. And then, yeah, look at that. So that was the daily RSI, obviously getting overbought, not the weekly RSI. Yeah, and this is a brand new project, so expect the unexpected with these things. They can obviously go parabolic or they can crash and then go belly up. But my honest suggestion is just go for coins that are a little more well established. Yes, it's more reward potential with newer coins because they can just blow up and go parabolic, but the market cap is already at 100 million, so you can just go for another project at 100 million that's a little more well established. That's just me personally, but not financial advice, of course. All right, let's take a look at Centrifuge. So this one is a good old RWA coin, and they just recently had a pretty big pump here, as you can see. Now, the negative thing about this is, of course, they lost the December 2022 bottom, and that's quite negative. So from that top there at $1.13, this crash is over 90%. And now Centrifuge is trying to recover. We're running into the 20 MA on the weekly as resistance. Now, the only reason why I think this is not as big of an issue as it is with some other major layer one, like top altcoins like Polkadot or even something like Moonbeam, is because the narrative that Centrifuge is in will potentially, revive the project and help it, or revive the price action rather, and help it get past those local tops and even get back up to the same all-time high from 2021 and potentially even get to new all-time high prices. But now is a good time to be dollar cost averaging if you still haven't been doing that. The RSI is just steadily going down. So you have 3 run-ins with this trend line here. Every time you run into it, you have a retracement. So it's possible we're going to have a retracement here. It is possible. So there's this little channel down pattern for the daily RSI, sorry, for the weekly RSI. So hopefully we'll be able to break past it and start pumping. Of course, the overall market conditions are important for this. We are expecting an alt season, and these price predictions that I'm giving you based on the 1.618, all of the predictions are based on the fact that we are going to be continuing in this bull market. We are going to have Ethereum break its all-time high, and we are going to have an alt season. Because if those criteria are not met, then like Centrifuge can't get to $6. There's no reality where it's possible in these market conditions unless there is a Binance listing plus Trump mentioning it plus Elon Musk making it his new favorite coin, you know? So obviously those things are not likely to happen, but we need to have an alt season, a proper alt season for this to play out. And if we pull up Centrifuge on CoinMarketCap, all right, so $100 million market cap. There we go. So PEAQ is also sitting at 100 million. You can just go for Centrifuge instead. Like it's listed on OKX. Go on to OKX, get it on OKX, or get it on Gate. But I would trust OKX more than Gate. It's a little more serious exchange. And yeah, so this is on Moonbeam. Let's go to their website real quick. So $703 million worth of assets financed. Yeah, so they're tokenizing real-world assets, which is the whole point of RWA. All right, so that's Centrifuge. Let's take a look at the other ones. The other ones here, I want to do a little more research into because I don't know a lot about these coins here. They're also a request from Patreon. So this is Spectre. And if I'm not mistaken, this is the one that Alex Becker was partnering up with. So let me open up something so I can see if that's the case. Okay, so yeah, sorry, I was just reading something. Yeah, so Spectre is one of the partnerships that was announced with Alex Becker. So Alex Becker is bullish on Spectre. So that's a good thing. Let's go to their Twitter page. I think they're definitely going to mention something about Alex Becker. Hash AI partnering up with Spectre. That's a bullish thing. Neural, this is obviously another AI coin that I'm bullish on. Let me see if I can find, let's go to the website instead. Next-gen AI on-chain research platform, Spectre AI is here to help you navigate the crypto market by offering a suite of sentiment, technical, and on-chain tools powered by AI. All these features are accessible in one place, the Spectre AI search engine, which is our flagship product. Interesting. Let me open that up. Partners, Web3 partners, and Web2 partners. Hash AI obviously being the most recent one. Ocean Protocol, which is now the mouthful triple name they have when they merged the three companies together. There's PAL AI. There's PLUME AI, which is a really bullish one. There's the Ioni Protocol. There's Superverse. There's Neural. And Web2, we have BitQuery, Google, NVIDIA, and TradingView. So Google and NVIDIA obviously being the two major names here that stand out. Okay, so let's take a look at their search engine. Research zone. Heat maps. So I'm clicking on heat maps. Some of the pages aren't working. I think they're still in beta testing or something. And of course, there's tiers. So you can unlock, I think you can unlock more ability or more. You have to essentially pay to get all of the features. So extra features for specific tiers. Okay. But it does seem interesting. Like if they pull this off the right way, it could pump. Obviously, $28 million market cap is nothing. It's very low. But if you want to get it, it has to be on Ethereum through Uniswap. XT.com is a centralized exchange. Like XT.com. I don't want to open the exchange itself. I just want to see. Some users have reported issues with customer support and unusual price fluctuations. Additionally, there are concerns about the platform's security and privacy practices, with some users alleging that personal information may be sold to third parties. Surprise, surprise. I think all centralized exchanges are doing the same thing. Hi, Azik, how's it going? Can you do a TA on Plume? We'll do that in just a few minutes because we want to cover the three projects. We'll see actually how much time we have left, but we'll try to take a look at Plume. Azik is kind of cute. Thank you, Moo Point. I appreciate that. I think it's the glasses. So essentially, XT.com has some red flags. So be careful when you're setting up new exchanges, new centralized exchanges. So the top 10 hold around 17% of the supply, while others hold around 83%. So it's not, it's not horrible, but if they want to be like the flagship AI project for research, then and they have Alex Becker backing them, that's going to be that's a really strong start. So phase 3.1 in progress. Deployment of Spectre AI utilities in Telegram, continuous improvement to the AI search engine. They have staking coming up next. Listings and outreach, centralized exchange listings, market making, onboarding, ambassador referral programs. So they're teasing more centralized exchange listings, which I don't really like when companies put that on the roadmap, because it kind of shows that they're trying to get people to buy in because there'll be pumps because of the listings, 5% buy and sell tax, 10 million token supply. And I think the entire circulating supply is out. Well, 99.93%. Okay, so that's Spectre. Let's take a look at, so another one that is another, actually, let's take a look at the price action. We haven't looked at the price action for Spectre. Let's do that before we switch to the next one. Really, there's nothing. Can't even take a look at the price action here, I think. Spectre AI, there's nothing against the US dollar. What was that? Okay, there we go. So, no, that's not it. Okay, well, we won't be able to take a look at the price action, whatever. So the next coin is Autos. I'm not sure which ticker it is specifically, but it's supposed to be this CryptoAutos. So yeah, red one. I think that should be it. So yeah, that should be it. So this is the accurate price action chart, and this is the CoinMarketCap page. So they have MEXC and Gate.io and KuCoin. So perfect. You can get into the coin without having to sign up on some weird exchanges. But of course, be aware that MEXC, like I've had some people tell me that MEXC essentially blocks accounts that have too much money on them. So, you know, be careful is all I'm going to say. Okay, so this is in the RWA space. Okay, interesting. Interesting. Top 10 hold 46% of the supply. I mean, that's a given because the market cap is 6.5 million, so it's not a big surprise. CryptoAutos is the world's first crypto automotive marketplace integrated with blockchain technology. It is a secure automotive platform and global concierge network that allows you to seamlessly purchase luxury cars. Revolutionizing the car buying experience, CryptoAutos platform empowers car dealers to showcase their vehicles to a global audience while enabling customers to seamlessly purchase cars using digital assets. That sounds interesting. I thought this was a normal marketplace, but seems it's only for luxury cars. Let's see what they're offering. I mean, this is definitely one of the use cases that blockchain can be adopted for. Marketplaces and buying vehicles. Lamborghini, 2.5 Bitcoin. Like, does that seem like a real image or is that AI generated? I can't tell. They have some reviews here, but obviously these reviews are from people with no profile pictures. I mean, it's interesting. But I don't know how legit this is. Let's see. So currently driving Lamborghini. Okay, they're showing what cars they're driving. No way, all of them have like supercars. Okay, interesting. And that's it. You can't. So Harley, let's open up their Twitter. 509,000 followers. So these guys are pushing their marketing really well. The car industry is outdated, archaic, and restrictive. Okay, so yeah, these guys, it seems like these guys are legit. Day 299 of posting supercars until GTA 6. So you get rewards for staking autos, VIP access to vehicle listings, rewards that elevate your ownership, exclusive perks for long-term believers. Interesting. I'll be honest, this is kind of bullish. Moon Tropica is partnering up with them. I mean, I'm not going to lie, this is pretty, I wasn't expecting this, pretty exciting. Let's follow them on Twitter. I like when their LinkedIn profiles are immediately linked. Alaikum salam. Crypto Princess, how are you doing? What are your thoughts on Autos, Crypto Princess? What do you think about Autos? Okay, let's go to the Contact Us page. Let's see what they say there. You can call directly. Interesting. Interesting. I mean, this is pretty legit. And I think if this marketplace is successful for luxury cars, then we might have, marketplaces for normal cars as well. But that is quite interesting. And let's take a look at the price action chart. Obviously, we have the listing pump, and now it's a downtrend. So there's that resistance trend line that we just broke past, and now we're back testing it as support. Okay, so if you want to start entering, you're losing the 20 MA right now. I would say it's not a bad time to start entering, but you do have a few other options here. And let me change the color of the trend lines to yellow here. So those two trend lines below are going to be good entry points. I'll give you the price tags right now. 0.01, so essentially a cent, and all the way down to 0.008. I mean, I have to say, this is pretty exciting. The only issue that I have is this going to pick up? Like, is this going to be a popular niche? Because if they have a few major announcements, maybe Lamborghini mentions them, maybe Ferrari mentions them, and they have a massive pump, but are they going to have like a massive bull market? Because this is a relatively new niche. I don't know if, well, it is in the RWA niche, right? Technically speaking. You know Mubarak. Who is Mubarak? Is it a YouTuber or is it Yonicha Lonicha? Never hear it until now. Well, yeah. I mean, they got 509,000 followers on Twitter, which is pretty insane with a $6.4 million market cap, relatively new project. So give them a try. Buy Mubarak coin. Oh, the Mubarak, is that like a meme coin? Or is that the coin that we're pushing during Ramadan? Yeah, like, yeah, I'm definitely not buying this. Thank you for the suggestion, though. Okay, so we got asked to take a look at Plume, I believe. Let's see what Plume is doing. I think this is also an RWA coin. Yeah. And they're in the Binance Alpha category, though they're not listed on Binance yet. That means a listing is very possible in the future. $340 million market cap. The price action chart is not horrible, but it's not super great either. But that is a good thing for those of you who still haven't bought into it. So there's perpetual trading for PLUME on Binance, but no spot trading yet. Actually, the chart is pretty good. The chart looks very good. So as you can see, every time we bounce off the white trend line here, we have a move to the upside. But now it seems that we're losing the trend line and we're dropping down. Now, if we are going to continue dropping down, we can set up a Fibonacci retracement to see what our technical targets to the downside are going to be like. So we took the local top from May this year, and we took the bottom from April last month. And you can see the 1.618 is going to be all the way down here at 12.5 cents. For PLUME, if this plays out, if we have that retracement, that's another 26% to the downside. And it got very dark very quickly, and I just got a storm warning where I'm at. So we'll see. That's why it got super dark quickly. Maybe I just noticed it, but it was much lighter when I started the live stream. So that's the situation with PLUME. You have to take a look at this resistance trend line as well, because we've had 2 bounces off of it right now. So it's going to be a pretty important level down the line once we're retracing back up. Barak will go 1000x. All right, well then you should buy it. If it's going to go 1000x, you should definitely invest into it, right? If it's going 1000x, then everyone should buy it. Yeah, so that's the TLDR on PLUME. $340 million market cap. Like, this could easily go to $5 to $7 to $10 billion with the RWA narrative picking up, and a Binance listing, maybe Kraken listing, definitely could help out the price action here. Looks like the team made good money with this shitcoin Chinese scammers. So obviously some people are not happy in the comments here, saying just another scam. Scammers will never release mainnet. Scam just like Mantra. Well, Mantra was a scam, right? And I'm so glad that we got out of Mantra in time at $4.50. But I don't think that PLUME is a scam. I would have said the same thing about Mantra, of course. However, I have to say regarding Mantra, the fact that the price action held up for so long without retracing when the entire market was dropping, to be honest, that was a red flag for me. And I think I mentioned that, like, the fact that the price was not doing anything. Look, the entire market was dropping while Mantra was printing all-time highs. And I was telling everyone just buy Ondo instead, because it hasn't had that massive move that Mantra had. Look, so we're going to set up the fib this way. We got to the 1.618. I was giving everyone the 1.618 at $7.02 or 20 cents. I was taking profits between $3 and $4. I bought in at, I should say, around 70 cents, so somewhere here in May 2024, last year essentially. And then we sold once we were in the good profits. Yes, if I held a little longer, I could have sold at $7 to $8, but I was looking to buy some other coins that are not going to be that would essentially have more risk to reward. And that was a good call, because a few weeks after that, we had this massive scam crash. So, and I don't think it's going to be recovering, to be fair, and to be honest with everyone. So if you're buying this thinking it's going to continue going up, I mean, obviously you can do you, but I would stay away from coins like that. let's go to the Twitter page of Plume. So yeah, when a coin is performing, when the entire market, let's say, is crashing and performing poorly, while a specific coin is doing great, then that could be due to some news. But if there seems to be no news and the price is just holding up, there is a chance that's being done artificially because there is a reason behind that. And the reason here was, a massive sell-off. So yeah, I'm sorry that if any of you got affected by the Mantra crash, I'm sorry to hear that. But we should all use these lessons to improve ourselves and to do better in the next cycle and in this cycle, right? Everything is a lesson. I've lost money too. So it's just what everyone goes through. All right, I think that should be it for this live stream. There's one more coin that I wanted to look at, but I think we're just going to cover it on Patreon. All right, thank you all for watching, guys. Thank you all for joining, and thank you for your comments. Thank you, Crypto Princess, for always being nice in the comments. And yeah, stay safe, everyone. Have a good day, and I'll see you tomorrow.